And I won't say what exactly that means because I don't want to.
You took him for dinner. Let's say that.
Yeah. Take him for dinner. Yeah, always take someone for dinner. You know. So I got to Andrews, and I'm sat there, and I'm just remembering Vince saying to me, "Always take people for dinner." And I'm speaking to Joe. I'm just like, listen, look, I haven't got any property. This is new to me, but that place there is a deal. It's probate. I know it's cheap, and I need it. And I need you to put me in front of anyone else. Sell this to me, because I always take people for dinner.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Anyway, I've ended up viewing the place actually, and bearing in mind when actually not yet. Anyway, I've ended up viewing the place and ended up buying it. And the way that I was able to buy it was obviously I got a mortgage, but this went back to before I ever had anything. I once walked into Nationwide and I booked an appointment with a mortgage broker. I've gone in there with a mortgage advisor who works for the bank, and I said, yeah mate, I said I need a mortgage. He said, well, what's your job? I said, don't have one. He just looked at me like, mate, are you for real? Are you really here to waste my time? But I had a pen and a pad, and I always carry a pen and a pad even now. Like, my pen and pad means everything to me. But I was taking notes. I was like, look, all right, so you're saying I need a job? Fine, no problem. I'll go and get one. Write that down. I said, what else? How can you help me get a mortgage? Since we're here, we might as well talk now because I've got an appointment with you. He said, well, you're going to need, I can only lend 5 times your salary. I said, no problem. Write a note, 5 times the salary. What else do I need? You know, so I've gone over, you need a solicitor, blah, blah, blah. I've gone over all of the steps. So now I've walked into that bank not knowing how to get not knowing how to get a mortgage, but I've been able to come out of the bank with my notes, knowing everything I need to get a mortgage. And these are things they don't teach you in school. So it was like I had to go out into the world and get rejection to then find out how I can be accepted.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Sense.
So then years down the line, I already knew now how I'm going to get my mortgage, you know, and I've ended up getting a mortgage. I bought the place. Once I bought the place was completely wrecked, yeah, and I've then ended up doing it up, and I've rented it out straight away. And guess who I've rented it out to? Because it came to a point where I was going to have to get rid of that HMO that I had in Orpington that I got for treats, and I also had a few other HMOs as well, which no point me going into, but again, same thing. I built up a number of just locking the doors, putting the locks on the doors and renting them out through sparerooms.com. So now when it came to my own property, 1-bedroom flat, I'm like, bingo, I got the tenants. I've pulled the tenants out of Orpington, let the rooms go, and said, here, you can live in this place. So they've moved. So he's moved in. Adrian's moved in with his girlfriend, just a 1-bed. Anyway, so one day he's living there. I've gone round. I just said, look, I don't care. All I want is my rent every month. One day I've gone round. There was a few of them there. So he said to me, Adrian, he said, look, would you mind if I allowed other people, allowed some of my family to stay here as well? I said to him, Adrian, listen to me. I've been in a position when landlords have tried to squeeze me out, tried to kill me. I know how hard it is in this life. I know how hard it is in this world. I'm not here to put any pressure on you. So, whoever you bring here to live, as long as they're legal,
it's your responsibility.
That's your business. I don't care. As long as all I'm going to do is come here each month and collect my rent, and that's all. I just want my rent, and that's it. And next thing you know, I think he probably got on the phone, rang all his family in Romania, and he said, "Listen, we've hit the jackpot. They've all travelled from Romania. I think in a 1-bed flat. I think there was like 6 of them. Again, not my business. I can't confirm that, and I'm not confirming that. But I'm saying I just cared that I wanted my rent. I'm not into like police people and police these properties. As long as they're not doing any criminality in there, then there's no criminality in there, then that's fine by me. Anyway, so that's renting out. And again, my partner has one day come to me, and he was no different to me. Ambitious, hungry, creative, got a lot of vision. His name's Joe. And he's rang me and he said, listen, I've just been walking along this place in Sevenoaks. I found this property in the window.
Onto all the land.
Onto the land, yeah. So he's like, I've just found this property. And he said, Floms, I'm telling you, you can get planning permission to the side of it and build a house. I said, where did you find this property? He said to me, it was in the window of an estate agency, yeah? I said, mate, there's no deals in no windows of estate agencies, even though I bought one myself for probate, but you're just naturally negative. Like, it's not good, but sometimes in life, it's like you always just think, no, you can't do that, you know? And I shouldn't be like that because, you know, I've made it in life now, but it's just human nature sometimes. And so he said this to me, I just said, you don't get no deals in no windows. He said, Flomsie, he said, I'm telling you now. He's come to see me. He said, I'm telling you that this is a deal. And in the end, he said, look, let's go with like 50-50 on it. He said, you get the mortgage, and I'll never forget this. Like, yeah, I'll never forget this hand on pounds. What a guy. So Joe said to me, he said, look, you get the mortgage, and I'll pay for the build, and I'll pay for the build, and I'll pay for the deposit, because he had a bit of money coming in, sat in his account, and but he had a CCJ, so he couldn't get the mortgage. So he was like, look, let's work together, and so I've got the mortgage, bought the house, and then in the end, we've put planning permission. We've gone to an architect. First, we went to an architect in Orpington that was no good. And then we've gone to another architect who's ended up, being all right. We put the plans in. We got plans accepted for a 2-bed, but we didn't want a 2-bed. We wanted more. So it was a 2-bed with a garage downstairs. Yeah. But what you do is, in planning, there's a game that you can play in planning. And you're
one step at a time, isn't it?
Take one step at a time. So the council come back and they say, no, we will only accept a 2-bedroom with a garage, because of the road has a parking issue. You know, because all of a sudden, if you just build a new house,
more people come in,
that's a family, that's more cars, and what if there's no room, you know? So we've done a 2-bed with a garage, so no problem. Got accepted. Once that got accepted, you know, make an adjustment. You say, all right, we want to turn the garage downstairs into a living room. They said, yeah, no problem. Boom. Then again, we say, all right, now we want to change the plans and move it around a bit. We want to make the upstairs other room, we want to turn it into a study. So yeah, no problem. So all of a sudden, even the study, and the great thing is in, you know, as when you're advertising a property as well, is a 2-bedroom with a study. As long as a study can fit a bed in there, you're advertising that as a 3-bed. You're not advertising it as a 2-bed with a study. So now all of a sudden you're lifting your price of it's the uplift of what you're going to sell it for. So yeah, ended up building that. We had problems with the build, so it was supposed to take 9 months. It ended up taking like 18 months. I remember Joe was like fuming with the build up.
I remember going down there at some stages and seeing him. I think he used the wrong bricks at one point. He put the angle of the house wrong, and then he had to sort of come back a step.
You know what the greatest thing about that is, and listen, the builder still contacted me, and we're still in touch. He rang me the other day asking if I wanted to back him on a project.
Did you?
No.
I was going to say, because if this is the same builder that I met as well, mate.
Yeah. I didn't back him on the project. But listen, he's a good guy, you know, and listen, I hope he's doing well. You know, I don't wish no bad on no one, you know, but he's just, unfortunately, he's just not a good builder. You know, but listen, I know you're probably going to see this, and this is why I say, even then, you taught me a lot, because you not making the process easy for me made me have to go and learn how to do things and how to make processes easy for me. So I had no choice. It was like you was put there to make me fail so that I would then learn the game. Do you know what I mean? And I owe that to him. So property was built, and straight away, as I always do, I come straight to Key Property Consultants. You know, I say, listen, we've got this property here, which is the one on the left. I need to rent it out. You know, you come around, you've advertised it, you've rented it out. I've come again, I said, look, building this house. Once this house was built, I said, can you sell it? You know, you're advertising it again, and you've sold it, you know. and that's how my journey began. From there,
Was that before or after we did your family home? Because I think at one stage we did your family home as well, where you actually grew up with your mum and your brothers.
Yes, and my family home where I grew up with my mum. Again, you've come round, you said, look, it's going to be worth X. You said, but if you spend some money on it, all right, I'll be able to get you a bigger uplift, you know.
And we sold it for more than what I told you initially.
It sold it for more, yeah, sold it for more, yeah. So, you know, I spent 30 grand on it, and I've spent 30 grand on it. You uplifted it by 100k. That's what you
70 grand profit in your pocket from spending 30 grand. You know, that's big money.
150%. And I remember at the time it wasn't going to happen. We was just going to let it go for that, you know. But yeah, that really helped me, and because I was able to, even then, even though the uplift, I thought the whole uplift was going to come to me. Because it should. I'm the one that's...
I remember that as well. You said, and I said, look, I can't get involved in that.
But the uplift didn't, you know. My dad come along. He's like, don't live in the country. But he come along. So my dad lives in America, and he changed the deal, didn't he? So yeah, so he took the uplift. I got my money back that I put in, got a little bit on top. You know. But listen, at the end of the day, again, these things just teach you, you know. So I got no problems with my dad for that. Put some money in my bank. Again, you've done the 7 still. We've done the 7 built it. You sold that. Again, uplift was amazing. You know, made good money. I won't say the numbers, but yeah, made really good money.
Yeah. Norbury, was it Norbury from that one?
That's it. Yeah, Norbury. So Fortnite. Ended up having a property. A deal ended up coming to me. Not you, Adil.
You do come to Adil to get the deals, but this
deal, yeah. I go to Adil for deals, but when I've got all my deals, I give to Adil, and he goes out there and he does a deal. But there was a property in Fortnite. Again, relationships, networking. So these were some people that came and brought this deal to me, which was a residential house. No, a shop at the front. Commercial shop at the front, residential house at the back. So 3-bed house and a shop at the front. To get this deal, I had to buy the deal. So I paid about 18 grand for the deal. Bought the site, and I was sold it when it was sold to me. I was told it's got planning permission to build 4 flats. Okay, and this is another thing that you need to know in property, is that just because something has planning permission does not mean that the deal is the deal, because I can get planning on any site in the whole country. I don't need to own it. Okay, so what has happened was I ended up buying a scam where these people had done plans, but to the side of the property, if you remember, there was a alleyway. All right, so there was this alleyway with shared access between the old pub, a pub, and myself. But what happened is at the front of the alleyway there was a gate. So straight away you think that this alleyway isn't an alleyway. You just think it's part of this property. Okay, so, and this is how I ended up learning about boundaries. And even that Manic solicitors, they did the legals on this deal for me. But again, the lawyer's job isn't to look at your planning permission. That's not the lawyer's job. The lawyer's job isn't to look at your planning permission, and it isn't to look at whether or not you can make it the lawyer's job, but not when you're doing conveyancing. It's to make sure that the property is the property. There's nothing wrong with the foundations. There's nothing wrong with the...
land's not contaminated.
Land's not contaminated, and the boundaries being the boundaries of the property. Where the land sits, yeah? Okay, so they wouldn't know about they'll know that there's shared access, but they're not thinking to themselves, I'm not telling them I'm buying this and it's got planning permission for 4 flats. I'm just telling them I'm buying this site. Is the site okay? They've done the checks and they said, yeah, it's fine. It turns out that the plans that were accepted, that were on Croydon Council, showed 4 2-bedroom flats,
but built on the shared
boundary. Okay, so then all of a sudden, I wasn't able to. These plans didn't make any sense. They're not active.
Had to come in, didn't you? Like,
had to come
1 meter, 1.5 meters in, or something.
Something like that. Yeah, 1.5 meters in. And the thing is, even in planning and in building and in construction, you can't go half a meter, and you can't even go an inch over someone's land. Over someone's land. You know,
you got to pay them off to do
exactly.
that.
Yeah, exactly. So I ended up buying the place. I thought it was a scam. I'm paranoid. I'm scared. I'm like, oh, what have I done? I've had to sit on the site. I've had to get hire architects. I've had to get new plans done. But I remember I contacted the next door neighbour. Again, he owned this pub, and it's funny how my life turns out. On the come up, I'm always bumping into these people that are successful. They're rich. They got lots of property, and they're absolute.
I've been chasing him till this day to try and do a deal on that pub.
Oh, have you?
I've been chasing him, but he's for the last 4 or 5 months he's been ignoring.
That's it. So,
but he's still sitting there derelict with unfortunately drug users.
That's it. They're all heroin abusers and so on.
There's needles everywhere. Let's do something nice for the community. But anyway.
So look, there was a boundary problem. I've ended up having to get new plans. These plans this time. I've gone to the guy to the next door neighbour. I've said, look, can you help me out? He told me that he owns that land. I said, look, please, you don't need it. You're gonna get your flats one day anyway, but you don't need that land, please. I'm only a young boy. How are you accuse? I'm just a kid, please. Yeah. He said he'll help me, and then he ignored me. And just as you say, how he's ignoring you, that's what he done. He ignored me. And I said, all right, it's personal with you. And he owns a load of Papa John pizzas.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, don't worry, it's personal with you. You're not going to stop me from making it in life. I promise you that. And he didn't stop me from making it because I moved on and I evolved. I ended up getting plans. And the plans, and this is an important part for property, the plans that I've got were for the new boundaries, and it allowed me to do, we did the plans for 4 studios. Got accepted. Once it got accepted, then moved. Said, I want to do 2 1-beds, 2 studios. Got accepted. Once it got accepted, moved again. Let's do 3 1-beds, 1 studio. Got accepted. Okay. My GDV went from, when I bought the site, the GDV, which is the gross development value, which is the total value once you sell the site. It was supposed to be 1.4 million, and I think once I had to take a haircut, which is like shave it all down because of the problems with the boundaries, the GDV became 950. Or was it 1 million? I think it was 950 because that's what you achieved. Yeah. You ended up achieving that.
Top money for what could be achieved around there.
Yeah. You got top money.
You said it straight away. We rented it for a year for you. You made some money back on it.
Yeah, that's
just over a year and a half. I think actually it was. So you made some money back on it, recouped some of your build costs, and I was like, look, you ready to exit?
So that's it. So basically, when I had those, the build should have took 6 months. It should have took, say, like 6 to 9 months, 9 months, let's say. But what's happened is, because of the GDV's gone from 1.4 million to, say, 900k, 950, that's taken all my profit. It's taken a lot of my profit. So I've had to rejig everything. So I couldn't go for the builders. I had a builder's quote that was like 220, and that was from Mortimer. Mortimer Group. Mortimer, they do scaffolding, they build asses, but like they're the best in them. I could look at them as the best in the manor. And I wanted him to build it, and he said to me, look, the best we can do is 220, and I'm like, I'd love to pay it, but it's going to take.
The money's not in it.
The money's not in it. It means that I walk away with next to nothing. So I've then ended up going for a cheaper quote. The cheaper quote was the same person that built. The same person that built Sevenoaks.
Yeah.
Now I remember Joe said to me, "Don't use him, Floms, because you've seen what he's done already. Yeah, the jobs took 18 months. Blah blah blah." But I was like, listen, look. I was thinking, look, you know what? I like to forgive people, 1, and 2, I'm thinking maybe it weren't Andy's fault. Maybe, I didn't want to say his name. Maybe it weren't the builder's fault. Maybe everything the builder was saying was true. And, because builders, they talk a lot of smack. They talk a great game, every single one of them, to the point where it's like, now I can't stand them, So now it's like, listen, you want to touch anything of mine, I'm going on company's house, I'm checking your accounts, I'm seeing how much profit you got in your business, I'm giving you a JCT, I'm signing your ass up so that you mess around, you come with any story, I'm just going to sit back, I'm just going to be like, look, You're going to hear from my lawyer. My lawyer does not play around, you know. They're going to come for you, and they come in for every penny for you messing me around, for you not sticking to the contract, you know. So that's how I do things now. But back then it was a lot different. I had to watch the pennies then, you know. So what I've then done is, I thought, you know what? I don't think it was the builder's fault at Seven Oaks. I think he was telling the truth of all the mistakes. I've given him a chance. I've hired him. Because also he told me that his quote would be 140k. So he said it would be £140,000 to build these 4 flats.
That's 80 grand saving there, mate.
Yeah, so it's a big saving, you know. So he was making it at like 40, 80, 35 grand a flat, you know. So I remember people saying to me, and I remember Mortimer saying to me, it's impossible. You can't build it. I said, well, I'm just telling you because you're my friend. I'm being open with you. I'm just saying, look, Mortimer is saying that he can build. This builder's saying that he can build it for 140. Mortimer's looked at the quote. He said, "This is not possible." I said, "Well, he's told me he can build it, and if he does the deal, he signs up. That's it." But even then, it meant nothing because he didn't have no funds in the yeah. But I said, if he signs up, listen, he's a man. Like he delivers. He will. He might have messed up, but he's a man of his word. He's going to finish the job anyway. So he signed up for the 140. So all of a sudden, I've hired an architect. Remember, the architect's got the plans. The architect's name was Alex. Builder's name was Andy. So I got an Alex and I got an Andy. All right, and I've got Alex doesn't like. At first, they both liked each other, and this is what happens with architects and builders. Before the job starts, they're all getting on, but once the job's not going to plan,
they're blaming each
other. They blame
each other.
So Alex is blaming Andy. Andy's blaming Alex. I've got a quote for 140k. All of a sudden, this quote that was 140k is now risen to 180. I'm like, wait a minute, where's this 40 grand come from? All of a sudden, every more bit of work that Alex does, every time he comes to site, he's charging me £500. Yeah. To come and do a the
inspections of
the inspection of the work. So all of a sudden I'm like, every time this see you next Tuesday comes down here, he's taking £500 off of me. So all of a sudden Andy's playing Alex is playing Andy. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, Alex, you're sacked, mate.
I think this is when we spoke. I said, don't worry, bro, I'll check on the works and I'll see what he's doing and I'll report to you and let you know.
I'm like, Alex, you're sacked. Because I'm thinking he's the problem. He's stealing money from me, blah, 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 because he's just charging me £500. Alex is saying, I'm not the problem. Your builder's terrible, blah, blah, blah. So the builders then said to me, look, Flomsie, I need you to pay me quicker. If you can pay me more money, pay me on time, I can get this work done for you a lot quicker. So I'm believing him. I'm like, yeah. I said, all right, but when you're paying me, I needed to see a schedule of works before I release payment. So I'm acting like I'm a surveyor now. So he's saying to me, all right, look, what we're going to do is, this is for the windows, the plastering, everything.
Yeah.
Dry lining, is it dry lining? I can't remember. Anyway, he's saying like plastering, he's saying to me, he's going to have it all done. So I'm looking at the schedule of work. So I'm like, because I've already got this schedule from Alex before I've sacked him, which was how he gets paid. So the builder says to me, Andy, he says, look, I'll help you with the schedule so you can keep releasing me money every time, yeah? So there's things called first fix, second fix, first fix electrics, first fix plumbing, second fix electrics, second fix plumbing, carpets, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just paying this builder every week, every other week. He's calling me down, he's saying, yeah, this is done, that's done, blah, blah, blah. And then one day he said to me, I looked at the schedule, I was like, we're supposed to be on like the second fix plumbing now, but I can't see no pipes. But the thing is, I don't know what I'm doing. But he's like, yeah, no, this is it. Look over there. Look, you see that pipe there, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I think this guy's having me over.
I remember going down there one day and seeing that he'd put the boiler on the wall, but he hadn't run the pipes to the rad. So from the face of things, it looks nice, but nothing's functional.
That's it. And in the end, I paid him. Kept paying him, and he's gonna watch this, and you're a bastard for it, But anyway, so I paid him. End of the day, I started thinking, you know what? I think the builder's the problem now. So I got back in touch with the architect. I said, come back. I'll pay you again because money's hooked. So you can afford it at someone. They're coming back for money. Anyway, architect comes down. He then reviews it all. He's like, you've overpaid this guy by X amount, yeah. None of this has been done. No. I'm now saying to the builder, you tried to trick me, you've deceived me, you've been taking money from me, saying to me that things are done,
and they're not,
and the whole thing's a mess. All of a sudden now, the money's gone. The builder's saying I can't do it. He needs more money. The quotas ended up coming to like, the jobs ended up costing me like 240. It cost me more to get it done than what I would have had to pay if I went to Mortimer, you know? So eventually, and not just that, but the jobs ended up taking 2 years to get done, and it should have took like 8 months, you know? So all of a sudden, I'm sat there, I'm fuming. But again, key property consultants to the rescue. Come up with a master plan. You come there, you put the key property consultants banner on the outside.
While the build's finishing.
Yeah, whilst the build's finishing, you're advertising it. You're letting the public know 4 flats are coming to the market. You're advertising it online. You was advertising it on the Facebook page, Twitter, LinkedIn, you name it, you was doing it, you know what I mean? And you was able to secure interest straight away.
We had tenants lined up before the build was finished.
Exactly. And so once the place got finished, and I needed my money back, but you said to me, look, rent it out for a year, okay, let the market, you know, get a bit better. Prices will probably end up going up anyway. You're going to get the rental income anyway. That's going to go in your pocket too. And overall, I'll be able to secure you a better figure. And then, yeah, all of a sudden you've come along and you've ended up signing it up to selling it. Yeah, you've rented it all out.
After.
You rented it all out for the year. You've then given all the tenants the notice. And you've then got me an offer, an amazing offer on the table from a housing association. And you sold it to the housing association for me, you know, and again, made beautiful, not beautiful, but made profit, you know. This was supposed to be a loss. It was supposed to be a lost project, and thanks to you, you was able to put money in the pocket, you know. From there, gone from the flats, I've then started moving into more commercial, the commercial side of things, because again, I'm learning from all my mistakes, you know. So this is when I then went and purchased a holiday park, 17 acres of land, 200 mobile homes on there. Got involved in a holiday park, and so then I became an even bigger landlord, you know, because now I've got all these tenants. I've got electric meters for them all, got water, you know. Yeah, I'm running like my own like community, like Monopoly. And even then, I would go down there a few times, but I didn't really get involved or nothing. But it was a good business, yeah, done well from that business. Ended up getting involved in bridging finance, so lending money secured against assets, which is what I currently do, which is lending money and I secure it against assets, being like property assets. And I charge per month, and what I do is that money I secure it against the asset, so that and I only lend to developers that want to go out. I lend to the people that I needed.
Right.
No, I lent to the people that I was, you know. So yeah, the people that I needed, I became, because, you know, I didn't have anyone giving me money to invest in property. I had to do it all on, other than you know, my work that I did with Joe and so on. But there was no one that would like you know, just here's £1 million, and go to work and go and flip property. You know, I had to do it the hard way. And so what I learned, especially from like Fulton Heath, from the Norbury property, was that these builders can really F you up. And when you get F'd up, you need, like, when a quote goes more and so on, you need money. And the banks, you can't just walk into the bank and say, can you give me a loan? You know, it doesn't happen. They don't give it to you. So you need these bridging finance companies. And so,
and obviously you charge a fee for that. So people that don't know bridging loans, like Flom said, you basically you have an asset. Let's say you're going to do development. You've bought the land. Your plan is for 4, 5, 6 homes or whatever it might be. They'll put a charge on your asset, lend you the money. You pay the fee, and then the charge comes off once they've paid you back.
Yeah. And if you don't pay it back, then we take the asset. You know, we get the receivers in, and we get the lawyers in, and, you know, we take the asset. That's it. And when you can take the asset, all of a sudden,
people pull their finger out and do what
no, even better. So what happens? One, they'll pull their finger out, but, you know, I have deals that fall over all the time, where in the end we come and we take that asset. But the beautiful thing is that because I'm lending to the developers, that means I get the deals. So if they don't complete their deal, all of a sudden that deal lands on my hands and I get to come in and tidy it and finish it off. So all my property deals now come from distressed. They're all distressed, you know. So I'm able to buy blocks, you know. I won't go too far into it, but I can get ownership of blocks that are the owners have ran out of money, you know, or they just got the whole thing wrong, and I'm able to come in I'm able to lend money for it, and if it falls over, I'm able to get in front and take ownership and then finish it off easy. And when I do finish those projects off, I can usually sit back because I factored in all of the all the mistakes, all the errors. They're coming to me. I'm so far back. The deal's so great that it's like I can go and give it to an expensive builder and say, here, go and finish this off for me, you know,
good
and
quality
then,
standard,
and that's it, and then whack it back on the market, you know. And so that's what I do now. You know, I've started getting involved in deals up north, which I've always been against, because I've always said that you need to be able to oversee your money. I always look at it like we're building an empire, and imagine, like, you know, in like Lion King, when Mufasa, the monkey, is it Mufasa? Yeah, Mufasa takes Simba, and he says, everywhere the light shines, that's yours, you know, but that dark place over there, that's where the hyenas are, don't ever go there, you know. And so that's why, if I sit here now, I say, you need to be able to see your money. The dark places, you don't go there. So all of a sudden, these properties up north, Manchester, blah blah blah, I would always be at Liverpool. I say, I'm not going to those places, because if there are problems, you know, it could be that I'm trusting an estate agent that's just robbing me. He's going and saying that there's problems and there's not problems, and how am I going to do a 5-hour drive up to Liverpool, you know, and things like that, you know. But I've now started getting involved in deals up north because I've got a deal sourcer that brings me deals, and
you build a trustworthy team again.
That's it. Yeah. So now I've got a good team. You know, I purchased a place in I say we purchased a place. That's actually, I'm going to say we. I'm going to say it. I'm going to talk as if I am just the person that oversees things, and I'm just building a bigger picture for the empire. Do you know what I mean? So what I'll say is, like, for example, there's a deal that was in Nottingham, and it was a two bedroom house. Someone brought the deal to me and said that we can get planning permission for 4 beds. And he said to me, because this is what I do now, a lot of the time I just back people. So, and I've always said it to you as well, like, if there are any deals that come through, you know, I'm willing to sit on the table with you and we can back these people and give the funds and get our shares from it, you know. So this guy brought a deal to the table to turn a 2-bed into a 4-bed. Plans, he had already got the planning approved, everything else. Backed him, invested in him in the deal with my doctor, because of you know, everyone that I sit around, everyone that comes, anyone that's in my vicinity, if that's the right word, I always like to just, you know, what are you doing with your life? Where do you want to be? You know, what's your goals? What's your aspirations? You know, so I'm talking, so like, it's easy for me for my doctor, who's my friend, to end up becoming a business partner. And next thing you know, I'm guiding him, saying, listen, this is how I've done my journey, and listen, you know what, I'm willing to help you too. You know, so I brought my doctor in on the deal. And the deal again was we were supposed to be in and out 4 months. We've turned the 2-bed into the 4-bed, and it's 11 months and still not completed. And now what happens is, the beauty of this one is, because the way that this guy does his deals is he seeks for investment, but he uses another bridging company to put money in, and that bridging company charged 1% per month.
Right.
So our bridging company could have done it, but I like to put money out on the roads, on the streets, at 2% a month. So I charge 2% a month, 2% in, 2% out. And he had a bridging company that he could bring to the table that would put 1%, that would charge 1% in, 1% out, 1% a month. So it was cheaper money. So what I say is, well, why am I going to put my money in that at 1% a month? I can let him go and do that at the 1% a month because he's already factored that in his deal anyway, and I can keep my funds here to go send out onto the streets at 2% a month, which I do. So what's now happened is the deal was supposed to take 4 months. It's now taken 11 months. The deal's about to, after a year, it goes into default. So when it goes into default, that default then becomes 3% a month. So all of a sudden, the deal becomes interesting to me now because I send money out at 2%. So I'm now at a point where I'm saying, okay, we're going to now take, as it goes into default, we're going to take that bridging company out at 1%. I'll step in, but I'm stepping in at 3% a month, which is the default rate. So my money is now taking 3%, and it's earning money from the way that I earn is from the equity of the new GDV, because the price has gone it's gone from a 2-bed to a 4-bed. So all of the profit was in that, and now the profit is going to be coming out.
Yep.
At least that way, I'm now saying, all right, well, I've invested my money. I'm supposed to get my return here. If I'm now not going to get the return that I should be getting, then I'm going to bridge it, being at the default rate, and get my money what I should have got here on this side anyway.
Makes sense.
So, and that's not effing the guy that brought the deal out to the table, not at all. It's just saying, why am I gonna if the ship's sinking, why am I staying on it?
No.
I don't need to. I can jump. I can rescue this ship, or I can pull another ship to the side of it and say, everyone jump on here. However, I'm getting my bit for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I genuinely like investing in. I don't bother looking for deals myself anymore at all. No deals. All deals come to me, and when people know, like I said, that you're willing to go to dinner and you're willing to, and you don't talk rubbish. You've got a strong team. Even now I've got like a finance director working for me. So anything that now comes to me, because now I just want to be a dad, look after my kid, see my kid as much as I can. So everything that used to come to me, I now just swing it onto my finance director, and I say, you look at these deals, scan through it, come back to me, and I'll use my expertise to say whether we should definitely go for it or not.
So they'll do the due diligence.
They'll do
then
the
you
due
do the
diligence,
overview, say yes or no.
Yeah, and so there's other deals up. A new deal just came on the table, a place in Chelsea, that I can bridge again. And if it falls over, then I end up getting a place in Chelsea. If I want to go live there or whatever. So that's how the journey started really. And all the deals, they all come to you. And yeah, again, it's about building a strong team. And I'd always say as well, like in property, even when it comes to like sales, lettings, and so on, don't be running around trying to get into bed with everyone. Like, you need to find your right. You can look for new things, but you need to have a core team, so that's why I say key property consultants, they are my core. If there's anything to do with selling, anything to do with lettings, you always know you're taking first refusal. If it's a thing of, you know what, Floms, that's too far for me, then I'll just say, all right, yeah,
we appreciate that.
Yeah, and then I just say, all right, yeah, no problem. And then I go out into the market and just say who's the best in that area and just give it to them,
Brilliant.
But yeah, man.
Well, look, thank you for coming on board and telling us your story from how it began, from coming from nothing really and having the competition and starting your businesses as such, doing your HMOs, doing your first little development of adding additional property, doing up your family home, making money on that, doing your first little apartment build, and now going on to being a bridging financer. So, look, thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah, no, thanks, Adil. And also, what I'll say is as well is you are when it comes to this estate agency stuff, and anyone that's actually tuning in and watching this, come and see Key Property Consultants, come and see Adil, come and see his partner, contact him, follow him on the Instagram. He is a veteran at this, like when you were working for the company, for a company before you had set up on your own, you was the best in the company, You're not someone that's just trying to run an estate agency and see if you can make it happen. You're someone that you got a bag of experience and a deal.
Thank you. Well, like you said, if you need a deal, come and see Adil. But guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching Flomsie's journey. And like you said, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll hope to see you again on the next one. Thank you.